These are times when Dricus Du Plessis punished his cocky UFC opponents for being disrespectful. As the current UFC middleweight champion with an undefeated UFC record including 8 victories, 6 finishes, and 3 former champs taken down, Dricus Du Plessis might need a fresh batch of haters.
The belt, I'm coming for your head.
Thanks, boys.
Because he's turning all the old ones into his fans.
Well, I guess now I'm a fan of his.
This is not the first time this has happened. The South African powerhouse has been serving humblings to cocky opponents for a while now.
Congrats, champ, you're the man, I'm out of here.
The real question is, how many more egos need to be shattered before we start whispering Du Plessis' name in the GOAT conversations?
I don't have any other goals than being the greatest to ever do this.
Dricus Du Plessis made his MMA debut in 2013, and in just 6 years he piled up a record of 14 wins and 2 losses, with belts in both the promotions he fought in. The UFC, however, is a different level of chaos. DDP realized it early when he was booked to face the loud and cocky Markus Perez in his debut in 2020. The Brazilian talked a ton of trash heading into the fight, calling Du Plessis an average fighter at best.
He's a MMA fighter. He's a strike and grappling and has jiu-jitsu, but no good strike and no good jiu-jitsu as a middle fighter.
Perez also predicted a first-round knockout because he thought Du Plessis was not a natural middleweight and would have a power deficit because of that.
Me is a middleweight. This guy is a welterweight and a middleweight, and he's more little, maybe. The punch is more strong. I think that first round for me.
Du Plessis was just as confident, if not more.
Whether it comes by submission, whether it comes by knockout, whether it comes by TKO, I'm going out there to put on a bonus performance.
Perez continued to chirp during the face-offs, where he donned a Joker mask to signal the chaos that was about to go down. Inside the cage, Du Plessis made Markus pay for talking too much by landing a crunching left hook on his chin to send him to the shadow realm and win by first-round TKO. Perez was nowhere to be seen after the fight, but Du Plessis came out and claimed that it was only the beginning of his journey to GOAT status.
I said it before, if you don't have a mission to be the greatest of all time, you shouldn't be here. You're going to get hurt. I want to be the greatest to ever do this sport.
Du Plessis resumed his journey to the top of the MMA food chain a few months later. At UFC 264, when he faced a step up in competition in the form of Trevin Giles, who, like Markus Perez, made the mistake of heavily underestimating the South African.
I don't think that he's fought anybody accurate like me. I don't think he's fought anybody with the speed I have. And I'm not sure if he can play a chess match with me or not, so I think on the feet, I'll have some really good setups for him, and I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how he reacts.
Du Plessis was 15-2 at the time of their fight, with 9 submissions and 6 knockouts, yet Giles mistook him for a striker with subpar grappling skills.
Outside of his striking, no, I know that he grabbed a guillotine on a guy, and those have been my 2 losses. So, of course, I'm watching out for that. But I don't really see a whole lot outside of that.
Du Plessis didn't hold back either, warning Giles of dire consequences.
17 fights, 2 losses, all 15 moments coming by a finish, and I don't see that changing this weekend, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
On fight night, Giles looked smooth early as Du Plessis struggled to get going. But once Du Plessis found his rhythm, he landed a massive right hand that flattened Giles early in the second round. After 2 quick finishes, most fighters would be shooting for the stars, but DDP kept his cool and asked for more opponents outside the top 15, focusing not just on chasing wins, but also gaining more experience in the cage.
On my first contract, so getting that big names on your first contract doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Du Plessis continued to rise through the ranks by beating a string of nice guys, including one who confessed his love for the South African.
You're a nice South African guy, so I love you, lad.
In his 3 fights after Trevin Giles, Du Plessis faced Brad Tavares, Darren Till, and Derek Brunson, and he beat all 3, after facing some adversity through fight. After beating Brunson in particular, Du Plessis was 5-0 in the UFC, and he thought it was the perfect time to call out the then champion, Israel Adesanya, a Nigerian-born fighter who spent most of his life in New Zealand. Now, why is that Izzy introduction important? Because according to DDP, Izzy as well as Kamaru Usman and Francis Ngannou aren't real African champions.
Did those belts ever go to Africa? As far as I know, it came to America and New Zealand. I'm going to take a belt to Africa.
DDP's comments caused some backlash and pissed Izzy off.
You gotta choose your words wisely, but I don't want to give him no clout. But if he does work, and I pray to God he keeps winning, I will gladly drag his carcass across South Africa.
If Du Plessis was using that as a way to talk himself into an instant title shot, then it badly backfired because right after making those statements, instead of Izzy, he was booked against a scary contender in the form of Robert Whittaker. Heading into the fight, Du Plessis was counted out by everybody but the man who mattered most.
He's the guy that if you underestimate, he's going to run over you.
Despite the praise, Whittaker still wanted to break and dismantle his opponent.
I'm going to try and dismantle him. I'm going to try and create holes and opportunity that I can exploit to take the win.
At UFC 290, Du Plessis once again proved that he was unbreakable because despite facing adversity and struggling early, he came back to score one of the biggest knockout wins of his career to solidify his place as the division's #1 contender. Immediately after the win, Du Plessis and Adesanya had an uncomfortable face-off inside the cage where Izzy went off on his foe in an N-word heavy rant.
This is my African brother right here. Let's go. What's up, bitch? Let's go. Yeah, yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother.
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
The UFC wanted the two to square. Off at UFC 293, just 3 months after DDP's win against Whittaker, but the South African declined, citing an injury. The UFC then shifted their attention to Sean Strickland, who accepted the fight and then battered Adesanya for 5 rounds to win the belt in one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. Just 4 months later, Du Plessis was booked against the newly crowned champ, and things were about to get pretty dark and personal. Strickland fired shots at DDP at every opportunity.
I don't give a about that belt. I just want to make motherfuckers bleed. And Dricus is the next one who's going to bleed. I can't wait.
He said he's going to walk through me, and I'm glad that you know you won't finish me. You won't even get close. But don't worry. There won't be enough.
I don't got to worry about
to
finishing.
about.
Your coach will finish you in the back like you're fucking used to. Don't worry about that.
The champ even made a deal with the challenger.
Me and Dricus, we're going to try to fucking each other for you guys. Dricus, can I get agreement? To the fucking death. To the fucking death. Yes!
But when Du Plessis fired back and scratched open old wounds of the American who was abused by his father.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat up you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back.
Strickland was badly rattled and got all fired up.
I will take your fucking soul. You understand me? You see? Yeah, you fucking laugh. You fucking.
Yeah. Oh, I got a nerve. I see. I hit a nerve there.
Yeah, you fucking did hit a nerve. You fucking. Go ice your fucking ankle. You fucking coward.
The fight between the two took place at UFC 297, where both men battled in a 5-round war, with Du Plessis winning by a razor-close decision and fulfilling his lifelong dream of being a UFC champion.
Felt like 15 years of work, of dreaming, of sacrificing, of everything came together in one single sentence.
Strickland took to Instagram to claim that he was robbed. He said, "I won that fight. The world knows I won that fight." Du Plessis commented on Strickland's post by taking a jab at the former champ for crying while remembering his past on Theo Von's podcast a few days before their fight.
Dude, I remember like laying in bed. Like I remember I stopped believing in God, man. Like, like I have, yeah, it's crazy, dude. Crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, bud.
So, man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
Du Plessis said, "Why don't you cry about it?" Again, almost 6 months after winning the belt, Israel Adesanya announced his return after a lengthy break and was booked to challenge Du Plessis at UFC 305, where once again, things were about to get personal. From press conferences to face-offs, the build-up to their fight was fiery, as Adesanya took shots at DDP.
He wants to have to be perfect. If he feels that way, sure, but man, it's hard to do that against me. I just want to show you guys how great I am. And he said himself, like, he has the belt to prove that he's great. I was great without the belt. I was great before the belt, and I'll be great after the belt. I'm Israel Adesanya, and I'll remind you guys that I'm the last style bender.
But when DDP fired back,
You're saying that I
Bro,
made it
shut
about
the fuck up. You don't even know anything about my story. You have no idea who the fuck I
I don't care
am.
about your story. I don't care about your story.
Listen, my father and myself had to wake up at 4 a.m. and clean the banks while my mom studies to be a nurse. You don't know my story. Don't speak of my story if you don't know my story.
I don't care.
I will show you who you are Sunday. So right now, shut the fuck up.
he made Adesanya overcome with emotions.
I do this for my family. I do this for the people I love, and I'll fight for you forever. I swear to God. Watch this. I'm a human being. I am a man. I can cry and whoop people at the same time. I feel the love from the crowd. First time I fought here, 2-2-1. That was February 2018. That was me making my dream come true. Sunday, I'm gonna kill your dreams. I wanna kill your dreams.
Izzy seemed to be mentally broken, and it showed in the fight, which was back and forth until the 4th round, where Du Plessis' strength, power, and pressure got the better of the middleweight legend. Du Plessis first rocked Adesanya, then took him down, and then submitted him with a rear naked choke. Another Du Plessis hater was in the bag.
I already knew he was a fan of me. I knew he was a fan of me, but I guess now I'm a fan of his because we've been in there, we've done it. And when I'm in South Africa, I'll tap in with him. But I said, look, we can hang out, but just so you know, when we have to fight again, I'm going to kill you.
Despite their heated rivalry, Du Plessis also showered praise on Adesanya for being a legend and a tough competitor.
I landed quite a lot of big shots. The man can take a punch, but you can only take that many. You know, he kicks like an abs. Jeez, the man kicks hard.
With Adesanya out of the rearview mirror, Sean Strickland immediately made his call out, saying, "Time for war, Dutchman." DDP responded by throwing shade at his former opponent.
I don't know. I mean, does he want to cry again?
According to Dana White, Sean Strickland is the next in line to fight for the middleweight title, but a lot can change in October when Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev go head-to-head in a potential title eliminator. Who can beat Dricus Du Plessis? For now, Still Knox still looks unstoppable. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe.